Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am finally going to be sharing my Sephora savings event haul. Now I want to have this video up so much earlier in the week because now the sale is almost done, but I've just been feeling really under the weather and I was waiting to feel better, but we're not quite there yet, so I decided to just go ahead and film and share with you what I got. I did also order a couple of things directly from Armani Beauty because they did have a better sale. They had 25% off for members, but these were products I wanted to get from Sephora anyway, so I decided to just throw them in this video as well. But let's hop right into it. So first off, I did get two products from Rhode. They did just launch in Sephora back in September. I was going to try some products then, but I decided to wait for the savings event. So the first product I got is the Rhode Pocket Blush. This is in the shade Tan Line. This is a product that was in and out of my cart so many times. I know I am predominantly a powder blush girl, but there is just something about this particular blush that just had my attention. I don't know how I feel about the packaging. I think it just looks kind of large and clunky, but something about it kept calling to me. And the shade Tan Line is so pretty. This is actually the blush that I have on today, and you'll see in the demo trying it on. I think it's such a pretty blush shade. It's almost like a really nice bronzer kind of blush. It's like a mauvey, rosy sort of tone. It just looks really, really beautiful and kind of muted, but I think it's so pretty. It does have a bit of a glowier finish to it, but it's not overly glowy, glassy, and sticky. I feel like now that it's on my face, it's dried down. My hair is not sticking to my face or anything like that. So while it does have a bit of a glow, it's nothing intense. So I do really appreciate that. That's definitely points for me. And I'm actually really, really liking this. I've used this a few times now and I've really enjoyed it every single time. So I'm excited to keep playing with this. And then I also picked up the Rhode Peptide Lip Treatment. Now I was debating on this or one of the tints, but I decided to go with the Peptide Lip Treatment because I do love a good lip balm. I've mentioned this before. I have lip balms all over my house. Every room in my house has lip balm and hand cream. It's just a thing, but I do really love the packaging of these Rhode lip balms. I think the tube is so cute. I got mine in Strawberry Glaze. I'm probably not the person to ask about fragrance right now, but I do detect a faint strawberry scent, and I did put this on when I first got it. This actually is very, very hydrating and nourishing. I always rave about my Ole Henriksen balms, and I recently said the Edam lip balms are a close second. I think this honestly might be a close third because this is also very thick and buttery. It's also very shiny and glossy, but it's just that thick, buttery, nourishing feeling that I love from something like this. So I think this is a really, really nice lip treatment. Rhode is one of those brands that I've been very curious about, but also kind of skeptical, which is perhaps not fair, but I have been a little bit skeptical. So I don't know that I was expecting these products to be very good, but I'm really enjoying both of the products I got from them, and this lip treatment is fantastic. So I will have to keep you updated, but I am really enjoying these so far. From Estee Lauder, I picked up the Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer. Now this came out earlier this year. I picked up the shade 0.5N, and this one initially didn't really pique my interest. I don't know why I don't purchase a lot of Estee Lauder, but I really like the tube on this one. I think it looks really, really pretty. I like the doe foot applicator. It's large, but it's not crazy, and it's got kind of a slanted tip, so it's really good for getting into those inner corners of the eye if that's what you're going for. This one initially got my attention because Tati was highly recommending it, and she is someone who also very much loves the Natasha Denona concealer like I do. So she said that this one kind of dethroned the Natasha Denona, so I thought, okay, you've got my interest. I would say this is thinner in consistency than the Natasha Denona. I would say it feels a little bit more hydrating, but it gives a very similar coverage level and blends out very, very similarly with that very, very buttery kind of texture. It's very quick to blend, and it just seems to melt right into the skin while still giving a high level of coverage. I think the Natasha Denona might give a little bit more coverage, but I do want to keep testing this one to gather my thoughts on that, and I will of course keep you updated at the end of the month as always, but I do so far really like this as well. However, there was another concealer I've been dying to try, and this is the Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Concealer. So this one I picked up because I tried the Luminous Silk foundation for the first time earlier this year. I picked up a mini during the last Sephora Savings event, but I wanted to try the concealer as well. Now, one thing to note is that when I picked up a mini of the foundation, I got shade 1.5 and I found it to be way too yellow. I love the formula of the foundation so much, but the shade was just so yellow. So when I picked up the concealer, I remembered that someone had commented when I tried that on to let me know that Armani had released additional shades, but the naming conventions were all off. So 1.5 is yellow, but they also released a 3.75, which is like a very fair with a pinkier undertone. And that is 100% correct. So this is 3.75 in the concealer, and this is 1.5 in the foundation. So you can see this one is clearly way more suited toward my skin tone. This one is quite yellow. So now that I have that confirmation, I do kind of want to get the foundation in this shade as well, but I'll probably use up the other one first, just using a color corrector. This concealer is really nice too though. So this is the one I'm actually wearing today. I think this gives a lovely medium coverage. It blends out very easily. It's, I would say, a thinner formula, but it's not too thin. The way the applicator is designed, it's kind of designed to not pick up too much product at once, which is really nice. I find I get a really nice coverage level. I find it to be very comfortable. It's not too dry on my under eyes. I don't feel like it creases a ton. It seems to be a really nice concealer. I think the Estee Lauder gives a little bit more coverage, but I kind of felt like this one was a little bit more hydrating. I do need to keep wearing them and comparing the two, and of course I'll keep you updated, but the few times I've used this so far, I've really liked it, and 3.75 is definitely much better for my fair skin. A product I picked up from MAC is their new Dazzle Shadow Liquid Eyeshadow. This is in the shade Everything is Sunshine. Now, I know they've had liquid shadows for a long time. I don't know if they just reformulated them, and this is the reformulated version, or if this is a whole new line, but I do really like this updated packaging. This is very pretty. This is very in line with what they've been doing with some of their other packaging, particularly their concealer. Now, I didn't really love the original Liquid Dazzle shadows. I just found that they were kind of chunky, and I also found that they really didn't dry down. So they were just kind of difficult to work with. But I really like the doe foot applicator on this. I love the shade I got. It's like this little peachy shade. It's so pretty. I don't find these to be as chunky as the original. They still feel wet when you put them on, but they do dry down, unlike the original. So I think this is a really pretty liquid shadow. I also felt that it wore all day long and it just kind of stayed put. It eventually dried down and it locked in. I didn't find it was moving around. Now, I did prime my lids when I wore this for the first time, and I think I would always do so just because it is kind of a wetter formula, and I do personally have oilier lids, so if I don't prime my lids, they will just eat the makeup. But when I did that, this wore all day long. It didn't flake or smudge or break down. It didn't do any weird creasing on my lids, so I think this is a really nice formula from MAC. I definitely prefer it to their other Dazzle Shadow formula. I think this is fantastic. A skincare item I decided to restock is my Pharmacy 10% Niacinamide Night Mask. Now, I absolutely raved about this in my Sephora sale recommendations. I think I talked about this in every recommendations video. This is just my absolute favorite treatment to pair with retinol. I do my retinol treatment every other night, and I always pair it with this mask on top. I just find that niacinamide pairs so well with retinol. It can really help to prevent any of that uncomfortable side effects from retinol, whether it be peeling, flaking, dryness, all of those things. Pairing a niacinamide can really help you avoid that. Since this product first came out, I have been using it with retinol, and since that time, I have been fortunate enough to not experience any of those irritating side effects. You do still have to let your skin build up the tolerance to retinol, but something like this is a fantastic addition to your retinol nights. and my skin is always so glowy and juicy and hydrated the next morning whenever I use this. So my skin absolutely loves this treatment. Pharmacy really does have some of the absolute best skincare in my opinion. I also picked up 2 tubes of the Inculist Oat Cleansing Balm. Now, I used to absolutely love this cleansing balm. I used to swear by it. But the problem is the tubes. I found that it was really hard to get all of the product out of the tube. So I often found myself sort of cutting the top open to get the remaining product, and then it would just be left open for a while. And that's just not what I want. But I did see a post on their Instagram talking about how they've sort of redone the tubes a little bit so that you don't run into that issue. So I thought, okay, well, let's give it a go once again. I know I love the formula already, but if they've updated the packaging and it's not so difficult, then I could definitely switch over to this. I absolutely love my Pharmacy cleansing balm. That is my #1 favorite, but I do already have a backup of that one. And I was also thinking, if they have indeed fixed this packaging, then I am happy to just splurge on this because it's literally a fraction of the Pharmacy. Again, I feel like this is amazing for breaking down the makeup. It's very emollient. I would say the Pharmacy is actually a little bit thicker. This is a little bit thinner. It emulsifies a little bit quicker, but it's a really great formula and it will break down the makeup so quickly. So hopefully they fixed the packaging, and I'll probably just stick with this for a bit. But I do really love the Pharmacy. If they haven't fixed the packaging and I regret my choice, there's another Sephora sale in 6 months. I'll be okay. From Color Wow, I picked up their iconic Frizz Fighters gift set. So I was already going to purchase the full size of their Color Wow Supernatural Spray because I do love that. I have a mini that is almost done. So I was going to repurchase the full size, but then I saw they had this gift set for the exact same price as one full size, and you get an extra mini size in here. So I, of course, grabbed this gift set. Now, this is a product that I have really enjoyed. This is one that you use in place of your leave-in conditioner. This also has heat protection, and what you want to do is you want to spray your hair liberally with this and then blow dry it with tension, so with your blow dryer and a round brush. And then this will give you the glossiest, shiniest hair. It will fight frizz if that's something you struggle with, and it will leave your hair very healthy, smooth, and shiny, and it will last through several washes. I am due to do another one of these treatments again, but I love this every single time I use it. So I am excited to have the larger size. The mini actually lasted me quite a few washes, and I think I still have a few uses from that. So you do get quite a bit from the mini as well, but I figured I will definitely go through it, so I wanted to get the larger bottle as well. The next product I picked up is from Armani. This is their Fluid Sheer Glow Enhancer. I picked up shade 11. Now, this is a product that's been around for a while, but I was heavily influenced by Ashley Page. So she's a creator that I follow on Instagram, and she's so beautiful, but she's also one of those women who is just effortlessly beautiful and elegant. I love her aesthetic so much. You know, she's got a little bit more of that clean girl aesthetic going on. I prefer a little bit more in terms of glam, but I do love her aesthetic. And she is always raving about the Fluid Sheer. Now, she also recommended shade 11 because this is a glow enhancer, but this particular shade is meant to enhance your blush and bronzer. So they have some clear shades as well that you can use as a targeted highlight. They have some that are meant to be blush boosters, but this one is a perfect bronzer shade if you like that. Now, I've actually used this 2 different ways so far. So the first way, I use this literally as a bronzer. I put it where I would put my blush and bronzer, and then I just did my powder bronzer and a blush on top, and I thought it looked so pretty. It just added this very soft sculpt to my face once I had done my foundation, my concealer, everything's looking flat, and I went in with this, and it gave me just like a nice little amount of shape so that when I put my powders on top, it wasn't too much, it wasn't too heavy, but it just gave me that really soft bit of shape to my face, and I thought it looked so pretty. And while it is a glow enhancer, I didn't find it to be overly intensely glowy. It didn't look like I had put highlighter there. It just gave my skin sort of like this healthy radiance. and it's also quite sheer, so it's not too pigmented. It just worked beautifully. Today I actually mixed it with the Rhode Pocket Blush, and that's what you're seeing as my blush, and it's still just really, really soft. And even though the Rhode blush is supposed to be glossy and shiny, and this is a glow enhancer, I don't feel like I've got too much glow going on at all. I think I just have a really nice bit of shape and sculpt to my face, and I just think it looks so pretty. So like I said, I've seen Ashley Page recommend this the last several Sephora savings events, and every single time I'm like, I'm not going to use a product like that. I'm not going to enjoy it. But I finally splurged because it always catches my eye. So actually really glad I did. I'm excited to keep playing with this and adding this into my routine. And if you like a bit of a bronzer moment, this is so nice. This is the perfect tone. Okay, the last Armani product I picked up is another shade of their Armani eye tints. I picked up the shade 18M. So I currently have 20M, which is a much warmer brown. This is like a soft beige. And I feel like this is just the perfect one and done shadow to just sort of look a little bit more pulled together, but it's not going to look like too much. You could also easily just pop a shimmer shadow on top of this, and I think it would look so beautiful. This is kind of the shade I wanted last year when I picked up 20M, but it was sold out. So I'm really excited to have this. I know I'm going to get a ton of use out of this shade. This is like my perfect shade. This reminds me a lot of the Makeup by Mario shade that I have. So I am excited to compare it to that, and I'll of course keep you updated on everything later on. So I am really excited to have a new shade of the Armani eye tints, and again, I'm very excited about this shade in particular. From Givenchy, I did pick up the Prism Libre bronzer. Now, I had actually purchased this about a month ago when it was first available in Canada, but then Canada Post went on strike, so it got stuck in the mail, and then it turned out that it hadn't actually left the Sephora warehouse, so they just canceled the order and refunded me, which was fine. But I knew that I still wanted to get the bronzer during the sale. So this is what the packaging looks like. The component is almost identical to their pressed powder, except the Givenchy logo is in a bronze shade. It also opens the exact same way, and it has the exact same brush component on top. And then when you open it up, you have these 4 different shades. You can use them individually, or you can mix them all together for your custom shade. Now, some of these shades I feel like look a little intimidating initially, but they're not. I have heard a lot of people say that these are very, very light, and I would definitely say that they do err on the lighter side. I certainly do get enough pigment for my skin tone. This is not too light for me at all. This is perfect. I've just been swirling everything together and using them that way, but it does say you can go in, you can warm up the face with these two and sculpt with this one if that's what you want to do. This particular quadrant right down here actually has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's not sparkly at all, but it is a little bit more radiant than the other powders, but mixing them all together is beautiful. I did also swatch these. I swatched each quadrant and then I swatched them as one shade. The very bottom shade there is all of the shades mixed together, and I do think this looks so nice. I do have this on today. It is on top of the Armani Fluid Sheer, but I think it looks so nice. I love the finish of this powder. It's very, very effortless and easy to blend. It does kind of give that airbrushed effect to the skin, which I think is beautiful. I don't know that I'll end up liking this more than my Lancome bronzer, which is the benchmark that I compare all bronzers to these days, but I do really, really like this. I do want to note that this does have a fragrance to it. It is pretty heavily fragranced, so just keep that in mind. I also love that this is not too warm. If I were to just use this shade right here, it would be too warm, no doubt, but every time I mix them all together, it's not too warm at all. It's just a really, really nice tone for my skin. So I've really been enjoying this. I've used this several times already. I've really enjoyed it every single time, and I am so excited to have this. And the very last product I picked up is from Hung Van Gogh, and this is one of his Color Story eyeshadow palettes. I picked up New Neutrals. Now, this is what I have on my eyes today, and I absolutely love it. I love it so much. Before I get into the Color Story, I will show you the compact. So it is just like the bronzers that I was talking about recently. It is this soft touch red compact. I love the soft touch texture, and I love the red compact. I really do think it stands out from the rest of my collection because I don't have anything in this sort of matte red compact. They did release a ton of different color stories, but New Neutral is beautiful. Of course, this is the one that had my attention the most, and I have been loving this. I've used this a few times now. I find them very easy to work with. I find the mattes very buttery and blendable. They're very easy to work with. This particular shade is what I've been using in the crease. I find that it starts out a little bit sheer, but it's certainly buildable. These two are intensely pigmented, but still very, very easy to blend. The shimmers are stunning. This is probably my favorite one. This is the one I have all over the lid, and I think it looks so pretty. I have really enjoyed this palette so far, and I'm so excited to keep playing with it. I just love this color story. I love these super neutral browns. I love these more peachy leaning shimmers. I just think they're perfect. So I am very excited that I finally have one of these. This formula is fantastic. I don't know that I'm going to end up liking it as much as the Natasha Denona. I feel like her shadows have a little bit more pigment. They're a little bit creamier. It definitely won't beat out my YSL quads, but this is still a fantastic formula. I'm enjoying this a lot, and I do think it's beautiful, and I love the look that I created today with this one. But that is it. That is my entire Sephora Savings Event haul. I'm kind of surprised that the only thing I picked up for lips is a lip balm, but that's pretty good for me. So I feel really good about this haul. These are all products I've been wanting to try for quite a long time. I restocked a favorite skincare product. I restocked a favorite hair care item, but otherwise it was just products that I've just been really, really wanting to try. So I feel really good about my haul. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Did you shop the sale? If so, what did you pick up? Did you discover any new favorites? Let me know that too. Is there anything here you want to see me play with a little bit more and give you more opinions? Let me know. I love hearing from you guys so, so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.